Jessica,
Hello.
I'm so excited for this episode and this talk because I feel like what you do is very unique.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, you combine sales with mindset and building strategies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. So I spent some time coming up with this initial question to ask you.
Ooh.
What I want to ask you, you enjoy helping women build businesses that feel authentically aligned, highly profitable, and highly purposeful. Why?
I think for me, the aligned side of it, after like the first 5 years in business, I realized a lot of people actually weren't building businesses that were aligned to them. They were building it in alignment with society's version of success or what they thought they needed to do to be successful. And actually, what I saw was a pattern of women who were building things that looked successful on the outside, but shattered them on the inside. And obviously, you will know we have burnout as a big problem in a lot of people's businesses. So the alignment side of it came from there, and also being in a career as well that I guess at times I didn't feel aligned to as well. It's about being able to ask yourself, what do I actually want and why do I want it? And I always ask people this question, and I say, if you couldn't post it on social media and if nobody could ever know that you achieved it, would you still want to do it? And that question, a lot of the time, women second guess themselves and realize, actually, am I building something aligned? And I feel like profitable is obviously self-explanatory. We want to make sure that women's businesses are actually pulling out to live their dream life, to achieve whatever goals that they want to achieve personally, whether it's houses, investments, you name it, or to reinvest. And I think purposeful is my most important because we are in a society where businesses are very glamorized. And I feel like it takes the purpose out of a lot of people's businesses because we have announcement culture. We have so many different things that I think people accidentally strive for and forget the people that they're actually trying to help. So for me, it's so important to have direction on, yeah, where you want to take your business.
When you say announcement culture, what
Yes.
exactly does that look like?
Um, I'm also going to preface this by saying I am a victim to it as well. I have been. Um, but for me, it's doing things for the intention to be able to post it. So whether it's the new house, the new car, the whatever it might be, it could be anything. And it's incredible that we have a society that celebrates themselves. And I never want that to come across with the point that I make. But I think it puts unnecessary pressure on women to feel like they always have to have something to announce. And again, probably then drives decisions that are for instant gratification, not for the long term success of their business or the women that they're trying to help or men, whoever they're trying to help. And yeah, I think it's clouded a lot of people. And I know for me, 2 years of building the breakthrough, I cared more about external validation than anything else. And I know that that was driven from the dopamine hit of being able to share things that I'd achieved. So yeah,
The reason why I'm smiling is because I can definitely relate to that.
yeah,
Before I started Her Wisdom, I didn't tell anyone about it. So I was basically doing everything on my own. Of course, I had
yeah.
my partner, but nobody else knew.
No way.
So when things would go to shit, I only had myself to come back
Yes.
to. But I think that's what pushes you towards striving for more and going even harder on your goals.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about alignment, how did you know that what you're doing right now was with alignment with who you wanted to become?
I think for me, I do a lot of reflection, very self-aware, but I think you have a gut when you know you're doing something out of alignment because I think a lot of women can relate to this and men, anybody in business. Sometimes you do things where everyone is applauding you, but you feel the most confused you've ever felt. And I think for me, that sparked the question of, am I actually aligned to what I'm doing? If somebody took the money away from it, or the social media side of it, or the announcement side of it away, would I want to do this? And when I asked myself that question, I stripped half of my offers away. And I actually retired, I think it was 4 offers this year, because they just weren't in alignment with this next chapter. And I think as a founder, as a businesswoman, as a visionary, you have to be able to have that chat with yourself of, am I building something that feels good for me, helps other people, but something that I could see myself doing regardless of not the outcome, because we all want to be successful, but regardless of the external factors that come into it.
And what are the exact steps that you take with the ladies that you mentor?
To help them find alignment. So I actually have, it's a little bit of a process. So we have the Design Your Dream Life that I take most people through. And that's really diving into, okay, let's remove all boundaries. Let's remove anything that could help you, get there. Let's not worry about being realistic. Let's really dive into what would you actually have in your life, whether it is something like a cleaner all the way through to how are you traveling to your holiday destinations. And I get people thinking about this dream life. And then we look at, okay, if social media couldn't see it, if you could never post it, if nobody would ever know, how much of that do you actually want? I also look at things like values as well. So for me, I definitely used to place way too much value on the wrong things. So for me, I cared a little bit more about, oh, I need to upgrade my flight to business because that's what successful people do, versus actually, am I a good person to come home to my partner? Am I giving him the best version of myself, or am I burning myself to the ground? And I think a lot of women, unfortunately, don't search for alignment until they're out of it. I think a lot of businesses cause people to have to pause and say, oh, am I actually in alignment here? Does this actually feel right? Am I becoming the person that I want to be? Because a lot of people tell me that they want freedom. And then I have to remind them, you do realize the level of freedom that you want, you could have now, but you have idolized this idea of complete freedom, being able to go on a yacht for a week, whatever it might be. And they kind of rob themselves of it now. And I always look at, okay, what's the now goal? What's the future goal? And actually, are there elements of it you can have now? So, yeah, if it is freedom, for example, or spending time with their children and they have children, my first thing is, well, how do we make that happen now whilst you're building? Because I don't want you to rob yourself of it. So then you resent your business later down the line. And it's just having them sense checkpoints. But I always start with a big vision. I think it's so important to have that moment where you just forget that boundaries exist or barriers or anything. And you take that hat of limitation off and you just say, what do I actually want out of life? Because without sounding cringy, we've got one shot to make it the best and the most purposeful and to be the best version of ourselves. And yeah, I think unfortunately society has squeezed people's view of success now. And you hear it on every podcast nowadays. Everyone hits a point in their business where it's grown and they've had to go, shit. So am I allowed to swear on
Yeah.
this? Yeah, where they pause and they literally say to themselves, shit, am I actually going in the direction that I want to go in? Because to me, direction is more important than speed. Once you know where you're going, you can apply the fuel to it. But if you're just applying fuel to something that's not fulfilling and not aligned, you might as well have a career. You might as well do something else.
Definitely. So. And I think the first question that we're about to answer together definitely aligns with everything you've just spoken about. So this is from Sarah, who works in communications. She's asked, how did you figure out what you actually enjoyed and what truly drove you?
For me, I don't think this can happen without experiencing things. And I've had it before. I've had clients, I've had friends, I've had family who have tried to figure out what that thing is. And they've done the quizzes. They've, really sat and brainstormed and looked at skill sets. But for me, I genuinely feel like I wouldn't have known what I enjoyed without trying it, because I fell into doing the breakthrough. When I actually had my corporate career, my first chapter of it, I was afraid of public speaking. I hated speaking in front of a camera or in front of other people. But once I found my love of helping people, so this was just pre-lockdown on Zoom, we would have Zoom calls, I would support people. That's when this spark just ignited. And I thought, if I can get over this fear, I could do something really impactful here. And again, I would never, ever have known that that was a possibility if I didn't try it. And every founder that I've ever spoken to that's found their thing in the end has trialed and errored so much. I have trialed and errored so many businesses that people have never seen and have never actually gone in flight. They've just stayed grounded. I've had, so many ideas until I kind of found, I guess, my thing and what I enjoy. I think once you take the pressure off it, it comes a lot faster as well.
I agree. And I think just going off of what you said, when you said experiencing different things, that's technically experimenting,
Yeah.
isn't it? Experimenting with so many different things. Like I've done hospitality,
Yeah.
I've done finance, and those didn't really give me that feeling, that dopamine feeling, like you know that you're doing something that you're so in love with. And with experimenting, that's where you kind of figure out the gray area where you know, okay, this is what I want to hone into.
Yeah.
What I do want to ask you though, with experimenting, let's say you're trying something new, maybe teaching,
Yeah.
but you don't particularly like the idea of teaching people, but you like the idea of going into mentorship. What exactly is it within teaching that you have to focus on in order to realize, okay, I don't like teaching as a whole, but I like mentorship. So what can I take away from teaching that can help me excel in mentorship?
Yeah. I think it's looking at, I heard this a while back and it stuck with me, and it said, a strength is not a strength if you don't enjoy it. Because you could be really, really good at helping people, but if you don't enjoy it, it's not a strength, and you're better putting your skills somewhere else. So I'd say if, you know, you are a teacher and you think, okay, I know I want to help people, but maybe it's not in this way. Maybe I don't want to stand up in front of an audience or on Zoom or in a classroom, whatever it is, but I want to help people. It's looking at, okay, how can I, again, experiment and try it? Do we trial one-to-one and see how that goes? Do we pre-record courses? Because I know that my impact could be huge, but I don't like doing it live. I want to be able to focus my expertise and put it in a video that I can edit and I can polish and I can then put it out and it feels like my best work, because people thrive and you learn in so many different ways. There's opportunities to teach in so many different ways. You have people that learn from experience, people that learn in a classroom, people that learn from mentorship and conversations. And I guess it's understanding where do you fit in that process,
Yeah.
and how can you best maximize it? Because I trialed courses and they did well, completely unaligned for me. I know I need to bounce off people to help them. So, yeah.
And you've obviously come from the corporate field. So I'm assuming that there's a lot of skills that you've taken away from there and you've transferred it into your business. What are those skills?
I think stakeholder management is the number one. Learning who do you need to know and what do they need from you and how to manage the relationships. Because I've been across sales, marketing, shopper marketing, different roles. The one thing is making sure that, number one, your client feels like they are your biggest priority. You quickly learn what they need and you find out the best solution to help them. You make sure that they know that you're a team, because we both have different goals, but we have a shared purpose somewhere. It's kind of like a Venn diagram. And that's the biggest thing I took from that into my business was you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. Listen more than you speak, especially when it comes to helping people. And I think that's what helped me so much in my corporate career. And now again, having another chapter back in corporate as well, it has allowed me to excel from the get-go, because I'm just focused on building those relationships. The niche parts and the skills come later. But I think in business, if you can nail the stakeholder management, the relationship building, the networking, and finding as fast as you can, what is the problem that this person has and how can I be or play a role in solving it, it's the biggest transferable skill that has helped me, I would say, from corporate.
Yeah. So with the skills that you've just mentioned, networking, knowing what someone needs, apart from needing those skills in business, what are the general skills that someone should focus on developing when they're on that path of trying to figure out what's right for them?
I think you've got to put your ego at the side. I don't know if that's a skill. It's tough. I had to do it, but humble enough to accept that, you know what, I'm probably going to fail a few times, probably going to get it wrong, but that is all part and parcel with trying to achieve this goal that's over here. And I think when I view success, I see it as like stepping stones, and everybody seems to get really caught up on like the one that's right in front of them. But actually, the goal is so much bigger than that. And I think a lot of people are scared to have that, I guess, not humble. I can't think of the word, but being able to accept that you're not going to get it right all the time, and that's okay. I And the openness, I think you've got to have the growth mindset of you've got to be able to accept feedback, because feedback is going to be the greatest push in the right direction, and not avoid the hard side of business. Because again, not to sound like a broken record, but I think we've glamorized business to the point people have forgotten that it's still tough. You're
Yeah.
still dealing with human beings every single day who have either the same or different priorities. And some people are going to like what you do, some people are not. That's just part of the process. And you've got to be open enough to take that. Because if not, it's going to break you very, very fast. I'd definitely say business shattered my ego faster than corporate ever did. Because it's you. Like, you are the front of the brand, you are the face of it. So any criticism feels so personal. So, yeah.
I definitely agree with that. The next question kind of goes into a different angle, but still relates to what we've been talking about. Annie, who's an illustrator, has asked, how can I deal with wanting everything, money, success, happiness, but struggling to balance them?
I would say, and somebody told me this once, that you can have everything you want, but not all at the same time.
Yes.
And I think it's looking at what season that you're in. There were seasons where I had to focus on growth. So money and success were like the number one North Star. But unfortunately, the gym classes took a bit of a backseat. Other things took a backseat. And I think if you view kind of everything as like a bit of a pie chart of health, money, career, recreational, religion, whatever your focus is, it's looking at that as a total and say, look, I've got 100% here. Whatever my priority is, let's say it's building the business, I know that I'm going to have to shrink these
Yeah.
just a little bit. I don't have to lose them, but I'm going to have to shrink them. I'm going to have to pull different levers at different times and not try and have them all perfectly balanced, because I've definitely noticed things come in seasons. And I had to ask myself, and again, this is not saying to put happiness on the back foot, you know, you need to feel aligned. But I think a lot of business women struggle, or just any ambitious, high performing woman struggles with this, because you want to be the best at everything. But it's learning when the season is to do that. And I always ask myself when I get overwhelmed and I'm like, the social plans, I want to grow the business, there's so many other things going on. I ask myself, okay, out of all these plates that I'm trying to spin, which ones are made from glass or ceramic? And if I drop them, they're going to smash.
Yeah.
Which ones are made from plastic? Which ones can I just drop temporarily and I can pick them back up again? They're going to be okay. Nothing's going to have stinted my growth or affected anything. But it comes back to, why do you want all of these things as well? Because some of them are like compounding. I always say money is a byproduct. It shouldn't be the goal. Money is a byproduct of you doing something that you love, helping people. People see the value in that, like service or product, whatever it is. Money's the byproduct. It's not the goal, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
So a lot of them kind of ripple off each other, I would say.
And that's literally what I was going to talk about as well, because I feel like you've said, focus on one thing because you can't have it all at the same time. And I feel like when you focus on where your power is going to the most, so for example, if you're in that season where you're focusing on developing your skills so that you can have that successful career, that will eventually trickle into you developing financial stability, financial freedom. That will then trickle into you having happiness. That will then trickle into you being able to spend time with your family and your loved ones, you see. So it creates that domino effect when you focus on one thing, because we've all heard those entrepreneurs say, when you try to split your focus and do everything at the same time, you get minimal results.
100%.
I'm wondering if you had a moment where you try to focus on everything at the same time and you got minimal results.
Definitely. I think it happens more often than not. It probably happens once a quarter that I realise, okay, that one just needs to drop. And I always view it, I work in analogies, it's just the way my brain works. And I always view it as getting a plane off the ground. You have to focus so hard on getting that plane off the ground. So, you know, you get the speed, you get the momentum, you get the direction. Once it's up in the air and you can knock it in autopilot, pick the next thing off the shelf and like, okay, I'm going to tackle this one next. But I think so many of us are trying to do so much. It puts us in a reactive state. And in business, you want to be as proactive as you can be. And this is kind of like what you said, focus on the one domino in front of you. Because when you start being reactive, you start chasing your tail. And if you think of a pilot in a cockpit, he physically can't get two planes up at the same time. He needs to get that one up, and then we can get the next one. But I think a lot of us try because we're so nervous of, again, every plate is made of glass or ceramic. It's gonna smash everywhere. We don't know which one to drop. And actually, I don't know when this happened, but we made the word priority a plural. And now everything's a priority in everyone's life. But it's looking at what is that number one priority that you want to do right now and focus on that. Because I have had so many times where I've bitten off way more than I can chew. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. But something in the background often gives. I may be able to get the podcast up every week and upload to TikTok and support my clients and not let my membership calls drop. But then my partner could feel neglected. My friends might feel neglected. I've not checked in on my grandparents for a week or 2 weeks or a month. And it's often the silent things that we miss in the pursuit of trying to do everything as well. So, yeah, there's been multiple times that I've done it. And I don't think I've mastered it. I don't think I ever will. But I guess growth is the best thing that we can focus on. But yeah, I always try and do too much. I think it's an entrepreneurial thing.
No, it definitely is. And you said that you don't think you'll ever master it.
Yeah.
But you also said that at some point you can have everything at the same time. How do you have everything at the same time if you can't master it?
So I believe that you can have everything, but I don't believe it all happens at once. So let's say you get the success. You could build the momentum in your business, then you could stick it in autopilot. So you have the funnels that work for you. You have the team. It's grown past that like growth stage, which is the hardest stage. Building growth stage of a business is so hard. Scaling it also feels hard, but when you're scaling, you're getting more results with less resource. So it's an easier thing to master. When you've got that time back, that's when you can think about, okay, that's now sorted. That plane is in the ground. It's in autopilot. We've stuck it in. What else is now do I want to focus on? Okay, I want to get back into the gym and do whatever. And I don't want it to sound like you can't do it all, because I also do at times. I will get my steps in. I will eat healthy. I will be a great partner. I will, excel in areas. But there's often one thing that we don't realize will linger. And it's gone on the back burner, but it's honoring the seasons. I don't think you're in growth season of business all the time. I think you have the hibernation seasons, which are your creation, the evidence, the insights, the analytics, the looking at, okay, what happened in the last quarter, and maybe like brainstorming the new ideas and things. And then you've got like the shine era where you just feel like you're present everywhere. But if you can master the seasons really, really well, let's say that it's the one where you are doing all the podcasts in the world, you're on every stage, you're doing every opportunity, bank that so that when you do have the season where you need to hibernate or something happens, the business still runs. And I think a lot of us think so short term, which just puts us in that reactive state because we're not thinking, what if I have a bad month in business? Have I got the cash for it? Or, if all my socials dip, do I still know that I can get the revenue in? Am I relying on that so heavily that it keeps me reactive? But yeah, I definitely think you can have it all, but I think it's learning what way that needs to happen and not trying to be perfect at not trying to be perfect at everything all at once, because it's life. Things are going to happen that are out of your control all the time.
Diana, who's a recent graduate, she's asked, what's been your biggest takeaway or lesson so far in your career?
I'd say my biggest takeaway, I'm trying to think of like the biggest. I think my biggest takeaway has been doing what is right for you, because there's been so many lessons that I've learned along my career, along business. But the one thing that I've realized in the past year is how many decisions that I made based on what I thought other people would want me to do. And I lived a life for at least 5 years. I only started my corporate career because it was the right thing to do. I only bought my first home at a very young age because I thought it was the right thing to do. And at the end of 2024, I got rid of my house. I ended the last relationship that I was in. I kind of got rid of everything because I kind of realized I'd built a life that was never mine. It was just what everybody else could clap around and applaud me for. But it wasn't really what I actually wanted. And I think the faster that you can find that and ask yourself, if you're in your dream job, but it's making you feel burnt out and you're unhappy and you're crying every night, is it really your dream job? Like, you know, if in business is tough, but again, it's asking yourself, is this actually what I want if I strip away the status symbol it gives me, the applause it gives me, what feedback I get from friends and family, you know, the DMs on Instagram that says, wow, you're such an inspiration, you're doing amazing. Take that away. Is that what you actually want to do with your life? Do you feel aligned with it? Does it feel purposeful? Does it feel intentional? Does it feel like the truest version of yourself? And sometimes you've got to go on a journey with that, you know, of seeking guidance from other people and being able to ask yourself the questions of, okay, what am I actually doing? And in your 20s, it's even harder.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't talk about that enough. But trying to be the perfect person in your 20s is a tough uphill battle, I think. And I'm only just getting out of it.
No, for sure. And I think, in my opinion, the main thing that's probably gotten you through those moments is having discipline and not relying on motivation.
Oh, no.
I am a big believer in discipline getting you there. Motivation is fleeting. It's a feeling that can come and it can go tomorrow. And when you don't feel like it, discipline and that consistency within the discipline you're developing is what's going to keep you going.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing I've taken away. There's been so many moments where I felt like genuinely giving up. But just the idea of knowing in my head the life that I've kind of envisioned of living, I'm like, no, I can't stop.
Yeah.
I don't have a choice but to keep going.
Yeah. I agree, 100%. I think a lot of people rely on that motivated feeling of like, yeah, I can do this. It's so temporary. It's an emotion in my eyes. But the discipline is what gets you up at 5 a.m. when it's cold and it's dark and you don't want to go. It's that commitment to yourself. And I think I always ask people what level of self-trust they have. So, you know, when we make these great plans, I'm like, this is how I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and it's going to feel amazing. The dopamine hit's already been had. Now you've got to put the work in. And that's the bit that's really tough, you know, of getting up when you don't want to, making that commitment to yourself that, okay, I'm going to do this. For me, public commitments really help me. So if I say, you are going to get this every single Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, we're having a call, you best believe I will do whatever it takes to do that because I've kind of made that commitment. And I think we have to, as people, make that commitment with ourselves as if we've made it with somebody else because we're the first to let ourselves down. If I had a nail appointment, you can guarantee I'm not turning up. I'm there because I've like committed to it. But the moment that I put the gym in the calendar or I say, okay, I'm going to batch create content, why are them ones the easiest ones to give? Because they're the ones that build the bridge between where you are now and the life that you want. And like you said, it's when you envision that life that you want and the house, and a lot of us can visualize everything, the hallway, the car, what it's going to feel like. Every choice that you make that is against that, you are essentially saying to yourself, okay, it's okay. I'm choosing against that. I'm not going to actually choose something that's going to help me get closer to that goal. So I think it's grit and discipline 100%. And I think you've got to be able to master that. And I don't know. I think I saw Emma Grede say this recently, that grit is either in you or it's not. It's definitely not something I've learned. I've just had it no matter what. I used to do the night shift at Sainsbury's whilst I was studying for my A-levels. I got my first corporate career whilst doing them and then took holiday to do my exams because I was just like, I'll do whatever it takes to get whatever I need to get. And I think, again, this is why the social media side of business has sometimes made it feel easy because everyone's selling you the next dream. How you can make 10K in 30 days by literally going on your phone for 1 hour.
Yeah,
it's warped people's view of what it actually takes to have that success. So I fully agree with you. Discipline is number one. Motivation's lovely when it's there, but it's not. You can't rely on it.
I love that.
So
let's end with something fun. I've got a game round for us.
ooh,
Right? So it's called Hire, Be Mentored By, or Ghost. I'm going to say 3 names at a time and you're going to put them into whatever category fits.
so either I want to be mentored by them or I'm ghosting them.
Who you want to hire for you to work
Right.
on your team, who you want to be mentored by, and then who you're going to ghost.
Okay.
Harry Styles, Cristiano Ronaldo, Grace Beverly.
Ooh, mentored. Ooh, I'm torn of who I want to be mentored by, whether it's Grace Beverly or Cristiano Ronaldo, because I actually feel like they'd both be great mentors for different reasons. I think I'd have Grace in my team because even though she is so insightful and she could be an incredible mentor, I know she has the specific skills to work in my business. I think I'd be mentored by Cristiano Ronaldo because I would love to learn everything about like his career, like everything that he's been able to achieve, how he became, this is probably going to be a unpopular opinion, but one of the greatest footballers, should I
Yeah.
say. And yeah, I'd probably ghost Harry Styles because whilst he's incredible at what he does, musician, acting, it's not my bag.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What about you?
Oh, you're
Put
the
you on
first
the
guest.
spot.
Yeah, you're the first. Okay.
I'm intrigued.
I would definitely have Grace on my team. She knows how to scale,
Yeah.
and that's what I need. I
Yeah.
need someone who knows how to scale. Cristiano, I would be mentored by him.
Yeah.
He knows a lot. He's a billionaire. Who doesn't want to be mentored by a
Surround
billionaire?
yourself with the billionaires.
Right, exactly. And Harry Styles, like you said, he's not in my niche. There's not really much I can learn from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm sure he's the cool guy,
yeah,
but
yes, definitely.
yeah.
Sorry, Harry. Okay, next one. Rishi Sunak, Ben Francis, Lewis Hamilton.
Ooh. I'm ghosting Rishi. Sorry, Rishi. Oh, mentor again. It's going to be very similar. Mentored by Lewis Hamilton. I just would love to spend time with that guy. I'd love to pick his brains. I feel like not only is he an incredible sports person, but his ethics, his mindset, everything about the way he does things, he just does everything with grace. And I feel like he'd be a great mentor. Ben Francis, for the same reason as Grace Beverly, he knows how to scale. He knows the ins and outs of businesses. He has the contacts. He probably wouldn't want to work for me, don't get me wrong, but I'd love him to.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for the right pay.
yeah. Which don't think the breakthrough can afford it. But
Soon,
yeah,
soon.
who knows? Maybe Ben and Grace will be on both of our teams.
Okay. Amelia, see, I don't know how to say her last name, but you know who Amelia is.
As in Chicken Shop.
Chicken Shop.
Yeah.
I always struggle with her last name and I don't want to get it wrong on YouTube, so
It's like
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, Amelia D.
Yeah, Amelia D. Michael Bloomberg, he's the CEO of Bloomberg. And Megan Thee Stallion.
Ooh. Ooh. I feel like I'd ghost Amelia. Actually, would I? Because she's built such an incredible brand.
Off of doing something so niche and unique.
Yeah. I think actually I would have her in my business, in my team. Because I feel like she'd be the opportunity spotter that maybe I don't have time to do. So the ways that I could grow my brand in different ways underneath the breakthrough values and things, you know, I don't think I'll be doing interviews and like dating Central City anytime soon in a chicken shop. But I think she could spot opportunities. I think I'd be mentored by, is it Michael Bloomberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd be mentored by him because he has built a successful company. And it pains me to say because I know having time with Megan Thee Stallion would just be the best time ever. But I would hope she'd be around for like a great like after party. And, like, we could have a little chat. But yeah, I think again her niche being music. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, and last three. Central C,
How weird, I just said him.
Anthony Joshua, and Doja Cat.
Ooh. Who was the middle one?
Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
That's a hard one, I think.
Yeah, it is a hard one because I feel like those three are all very, well, I say unique. I think Doja Cat I would ghost. Sorry, Doja. Yeah. I don't think, we're not the same vibe. I think Central C, he's not working for me because he's going to get nothing done.
What
in
makes you
my
say that?
business.
What makes you say
I
that?
feel like but he would just be so disinterested in the day-to-day runnings of my business. Do you know what I mean? I don't think
He
he'd
could
be.
help you with marketing
He
though.
could. I feel like he's solid on his brand, but I don't know how much of that is him and how much of that is his team. So I'm unsure. But also, I don't know. I would want to be mentored by Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Yeah, for plenty of reasons. Number one, great athlete. Number two, values. I just feel like he's an inspiring person. But yeah, now I'm thinking Central C in the breakthrough. Doesn't feel like the perfect match, but
For marketing, definitely.
marketing, yeah. Vibes. Feel like he'd be great in like an office environment. So out of character for him, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not really his bag, his niche.
No, what about you? That one stumbled me a bit, that one.
I would hire Doja Cat. I'm not a big fan. I don't really listen to her music.
No.
But I would hire her because I think my target audience likes her. My target audience is mainly women,
Yeah.
young women. And I think she would know how to scale a
Yeah.
business that's targeted towards women because I
Yeah.
think the majority of her audience is predominantly women. So that's why I would hire her. I would go Central C because I don't think that I don't want to say too much, but I don't think that there's much that I could take away from him because of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Whereas with Anthony Joshua,
Oh yeah.
I would be mentored by him because I feel like there's a lot of wisdom that he could pass on to me on how to really grow your personal brand and grow a business in a specific area that's not really targeted by a lot of people. That's who I would go for.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that a lot of the sports people that have been the mentors and the business people have been who we'd want on our team?
Exactly.
But they say you should always hire better than yourself.
Yeah,
You should always hire people that are so much better than you.
for sure.
So
Jessica, thank you for joining me today.
thank you for
I'm so
having
happy
me.
for you
Yeah.
and everything you're achieving. Tell me what's next. Tell everyone where they can find you.
What is next? I've actually just scaled the business back a little bit, but what is next? We have just reopened the doors to Atelier, which is our mentorship program for high performing women. You can find me pretty much everywhere. At the Breakthrough Society on TikTok, Instagram. Beyond the Breakthrough is my podcast. I do lots on personal socials as well, but yeah, they're the main places to find me. And I think what's next is honouring this season. So the season that I'm in right now is preparing for my next chapter, which for me is marriage, children, all those next steps, which is why I've done things like have a corporate career again alongside the businesses, just for everything that I need for that next step. So yeah, it's a very different era to the one that I've been in, which has been traveling the world whenever I want and doing all the things that are so glamorized. I feel like I'm now in my woman era.